Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. So it's time, well, it's my time to do a roundup of my favourites for 2017. I was going to throw in like food and fashion and all that good stuff as well, but I would probably be sitting here for like an hour and a half telling you all about them. So I thought I would just stick specifically to beauty products. Last year I did it where I applied all the products on my face. I felt like this year I wanted to do it just like a favourites and just have a chat through. It's kind of easier to watch and it's less hassle, and I'm not fully well at the minute. I'm just getting over my second cold of the last few weeks, so yeah, I don't really have the headspace to edit it either. So I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to sit and chat. So if you want to see my beauty favourites for 2017, just keep watching. So my first favourite is probably many other people's favourites for 2017. It is the Urban Decay Naked Heat Palette. I have used this a hell of a lot this year. I got it in the summer, so it's been a good 6 months, so I thought I was allowed to put it in. Like, I love the Mauve Obsessions by Huda Beauty, but I don't think I've owned this long enough for it to be put into the yearly roundup. So this is the one that I'm choosing to put in, because this kind of made me realise that I can actually wear warm eyeshadow. Now I know that's such a stupid statement, but I always thought warmer shadows look better on people with blue eyes or grey eyes, and I kind of have hazily eyes, and so they're not quite brown and they're not quite green, so it can be a bit confusing sometimes. But I always went for cool shadows, and although I had dabbled in warm shadows leading up to owning this, I hadn't kind of full on, and now I have like a matte warm eye on, and without this I probably wouldn't have done that. I will say that the shadows are a dream to use, and there's a great selection of colours as well. I like that there's no black in it, because I feel like there's a black in every bloody eyeshadow palette I have, so I have plenty of blacks. So I like that they kind of went a different route with Ember being the darker shade on the end, and it's like a shimmery golden maroon shade, so I really like that. I love the highlight shade. It's a really nice satin finish, and the shadows are just really easy to work with, and I love the packaging. I love that it's magnetic, and yeah, I'll stop waffling on about it, but for sure this has been my eyeshadow palette for 2017. My foundation choice is again something else that I got in and around the summer, so I feel like I can justify talking about it now. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude. This is not like normal Estee Lauder Double Wear, nor is it like the Double Wear Light. This is very much a light foundation with a more satin finish. As I get older, although I like a matte foundation, I actually have one on now. I'm trying the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Foundation. This is a more matte full coverage, and I do like it, but the older I get, the more I'm kind of leaning towards a satin finish look, generally for during the day, just because I think it looks better on my skin. My skin is starting to age slightly. Now, I'm not being dramatic, I know, I'm 32, so I have a little bit longer to go before I have to properly worry, but I can see a difference in my skin, and I can see a difference in my eyes and all that good stuff. So I am making more conscious decisions. I really like this. I wish it came out of pump. I talk about this all the time every time I use it. For the money that you spend on it, I think you shouldn't have to buy a pump separately. So that's something I would mark it down for. The packaging, it's not great because you kind of have to just dump it on your hands. But it's a really nice, it's light to medium coverage, and it kind of fills in any pores or goes over like fine lines. It doesn't sit in them, it glides over them. Has SPF 30. And it just feels really nice on the skin. It doesn't last probably as long as a matte foundation on my oilier skin, but it doesn't really bother me. Like, I powder it and I use primer and that, and like the bit of shine through the day doesn't really bother me too much. I'll powder if I have to, but I just really like it, and I'm glad I picked it up. Staying with base products, this wasn't released in 2017, but I only managed to get my hands on it then. This is Tarte Shape Tape. My lovely friend Laura really generously gave me this, and I'm forever indebted to her because I bloody love it. It's a full coverage concealer. I'm not a huge fan of the doe foot applicator. It can get a little bit messy, but I only use very little of it, so I find I just kind of take it off the doe foot and like pat it on my skin, so I get over it, it's fine. This is really, well, it's not really hard to get in Ireland, but you have to order from QVC UK, which is grand, but they charge you extensively for it, and I don't think it's really fair that we have to like pay probably double what people pay in the States and Canada for it. But it's a really good foundation or concealer. I have the shade Fair, which is lighter than my skin, which kind of helps brighten my under eyes. It works really well over the rest of my face. It's great for like covering blemishes and all if I want to do that. It lasts really well on me. I know some people get caking with this. I don't use very much of it, and I always powder, and I find it doesn't like gather or anything like that on me. And I use this obviously during the day, so this is a lighter coverage, and then so I can go in hardcore with this and cover anything that needs to be covered. So these have been very much my favourites this year. I have loads of others, but these are the main contenders. Another release in 2017 that I was very much on board with is the Stila Magnificent Metal glitters. I have a couple of full-sized ones, and then I bought like a mini trio as well. I gave Kit and Karma to my mummy because I already have it. Actually this is Rose Gold Retro. I have Kit and Karma somewhere, but these have been a fantastic addition to the makeup world for 2000. I keep saying for this year, it's 2018 now. They are a glitter eyeshadow packed with loads and loads of glitter, and it's wet. It's a wet shadow, so it's a cream shadow with loads and loads of glitter in it basically. Took me a long time to figure that out, didn't it? These are just really lovely. They are super pigmented. They do vary in texture. Some of them are better than others. Like for example, Rose Gold Retro tends to fall down more than Kit and Karma on me personally. I generally use them over eyeshadows, so I kind of like dab some on my finger and dab it on for a bit of a like glitter kick, but obviously you can use them on their own as well, and they're really nice. I would suggest if they do fall down on you, use a glitter glue, and that'll help kind of keep it in place. But with saying that, I know people would say then why don't you just use a loose glitter? There is like there's less collateral damage with these. If you use a loose glitter, generally it goes all over your face if you're not really careful. With these, you'll get a bit of fallout, but nothing too crazy, and they tend to last really well as well. Yeah, they're coming in an abundance of shades now. You can get loads of different colours to choose from, and they've since brought out eyeshadows in the same kind of variation, so without the glitter, but they still have the metallic effect, so I need to get some of them as well. But these have definitely been a favourite of mine for 2017. I actually forgot while I was talking about the Decay, I forgot to add in this pencil that was part of that collection as well. This is Torch from the like the He collection. There was a couple of lipsticks and a couple of eye pencils. This is the only eye pencil I've ever owned in this shade. I have it in my waterline. I don't know if you can see. Is it still there? Yeah, it's still there, so you can probably see it a bit. Like, this is the most unique shade I've ever owned in eye pencil form. I love the 24/7 glide on pencils. They're really creamy and easy to use, and they last really well in the waterline as well. So this is generally how I wear this. I put it in the waterline for like a little pop of colour, but I do wear it on the top lash line as well. But this was another favourite for 2017 through to 2018, along with its best pal. So another makeup favourite were the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink Liquid Lipsticks. So I have Lover on at the minute, which is this one. This is probably my favourite out of the bunch. They do vary in texture. Like for example, I'm not a huge fan of the texture of Heroin, which is the orange one. It doesn't tend to mattify as much, and it's a bit more gloopy. But I have to say, putting that one down, these four shades are really lovely. I have Romantic, Pioneer, Lover and Voyeur. They're general kind of classic lipstick shades, but I really like this formula. It's obviously a liquid lipstick, but it doesn't dry down completely, although it does dry down completely. So there's still a bit of tackiness on my lips, but it doesn't feel cakey or crusty or uncomfortable or anything like that. Like if you do drink, a little may transfer, but you still have like a bright colour left over. It doesn't kind of come off completely. I find sometimes with the drier formulas of liquid lipsticks, although they look great when you first apply them, when they start to wear off and they get a bit crumbly and you want to reapply them, you kind of have to try and take off as much as you can before you reapply them. I find with these they fade a little bit better and they're a bit easier to reapply, and they won't break the bank either. They do come in other colours I believe, but these are just the colours that I have. Wouldn't necessarily recommend the orange, but I definitely recommend these four. So another makeup release in 2017 that I really liked was the Max Factor Creme Bronzer. Obviously they have the blushes and I really like them as well. They're kind of an ode to the Hourglass Ambient Lighting blushes, and I suppose this is a bit of an ode to the Ambient Lighting bronzer as well. I've never used the bronzer so I can't compare, but I know I love this bronzer. I use it all the time. I either use this or Hoola, and for the last while I've been gravitating more towards this one. This is the light version. They have a deeper version too. It has a bit of a satin finish to it, which I know sounds a bit funny. It doesn't have shimmer or shine, but it just doesn't lie flat on the skin, and I just find it blends really nicely. And I'm quite pale, so I don't need that too dark or deep, and I don't want to I've kind of grown out of contouring a bit. But I won't say that I don't dabble in it every so often, but on a general day-to-day basis I don't really contour. So I've been using this a lot, kind of just in like the cheekbone area. I don't really have much of a cheekbone, and kind of blending it out, and it like warms my complexion. As I said, it's not really flat on the skin, and I just really bloody like this. I think this is $11.99 and I've been using this probably the whole year. I have a full review. Actually, I think I have reviews of all of these products that I'm talking about because they were favourites, so I gave them their own reviews. So I'll link my blog down below and you can have a look if anything takes your fancy. So my last makeup related favourite wasn't a release in 2017. I believe this was released probably the year before, but I was introduced to it last year. So this is the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1 face mist. What do they call it? Replenishing primer and setting spray. I generally use it as a setting spray. I like the smell of it. It has a faint scent of coconut, which I'm not generally a fan of coconut, but in some things I really like it, and in this I really like. It's silicone free, alcohol free and oil free. As I was chatting about earlier, although I still have oily skin, I'm getting a little bit older, so I'm not always looking for the complete flat makeup look, because I think a little bit of dew makes me look a bit more youthful. So this definitely comes into play with this. I still love my L'Oreal Fix and Mist, don't get me wrong, but this is just something a little bit lighter on the skin and gives more of a luminosity without moving the makeup or making it look dishevelled or anything like that. I like using it like if I go out for the day and then I come back and I want to redo my makeup, I like giving it in my face a spritz of this before I start doing it, and that makes it kind of come back to life and feel replenished. I know they use the word replenish. Yeah, replenishing primer. I see what you did there. It really does replenish. I just think it does exactly what it says on the tin. I don't think it would make my makeup last as long as something like this, but that would probably be because there's no alcohol in it, and that's kind of what helps set your makeup. So if you're looking for something a little bit more natural and a little bit more caring on the skin, this is definitely something to have a look at. I have two more favourites left if you're still with me. I know I'm talking a lot, sorry. My second to last one is the Clarins Double Serum. This is the 2017 version. They release a new one of these every so often, and every other release had mineral oil in it, so I wouldn't have ever probably used it. Mineral oil is generally kind of used to bulk up products and make them feel a bit more smoothing on the skin, but they don't really do anything good or beneficial to your skin. So this is without mineral oil, which is good because I think this is 90 quid, which is a lot of money, but you use a really small amount. Like I mean like a pea-sized amount. I use this twice a day, and I'm running low, which is very depressing because I don't think I can pay €90 for another bottle, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But I use this both in the morning and in the evening. As I have said about 50 times already, I have oily skin, so I wouldn't have always used the serum in the morning just because I would feel that it kind of messes with my makeup and makes it move around. this doesn't do that. I use this and a moisturiser in the morning, and I find that it helps. If anything, it kind of helps smooth my skin, make it look a bit more plump and alive, and gives a nice base for my makeup when my skin is kind of tired and needing a bit of TLC. Then I use it in conjunction with my nighttime skin care routine, and I find it adds to that as well. I just really like this stuff. It feels really nice and luxurious on my skin, and it smells nice too. As I said, I have a review on this over on beautynook.ie, so I can remember the scientific bits more when I'm writing them down, so I won't get into them now because I'll make a fool of myself. But if you want to see a review on this, I do have one. And then my very last beauty favourite for 2017 is the Jo Malone Basil and Neroli Cologne. I got gifted this at the end of 2016, I think. Yeah, it was around Christmas time, and this was very generously in the goodie bag. And when I first got it, I was a bit unsure of it. I will be annoying and say I have a review of this over Beautynook as well, so I explain all that. But at first I was unsure of it. It wasn't really my cup of tea off the bat, but I persevered with it, and it has become my go-to fragrance, my probably daytime fragrance. It has a deepness to it with like the neroli, but the basil kind of makes it a little bit more interesting, and it's kind of spicy. I sound terrible trying to describe this. It's just a really grown-up fragrance, and I'm not always drawn to a grown-up fragrance. Like, I still like Flower Bomb and like Lady Million by Paco Rabanne. They are still in my collection, and I really like them. But this has definitely kind of opened my senses up a bit more to more adult scents. And I always get complimented when I have it on. I do have wood sage and sea salts too, and I could sometimes wear them both together because these are made to be mixed and played around with. And I really like the combination of both of them on me as well. But when I want to kind of feel like a woman, a grown-up woman, like for example, I went for a job interview yesterday, and this was the fragrance that I wore because I thought this was kind of my most adult scent. And it's really nice. If you're in Jo Malone, have a smell. You won't be disappointed. Let it linger on your skin, because I feel that makes you love it more as it kind of sinks in and becomes one with you. I sound dramatic again, I know, but you know yourself, like scents smell differently on different people, and just kind of smelling on a piece of paper doesn't necessarily give you the whole depth of the fragrance. So go in and give yourself a spray and let it linger on your skin, and then make your decision on it, because it's really nice. I feel like I rambled a lot through that. I'm going to find that out when I edit, so apologies. If you got through it, I really appreciate it. I know I'm still all a bit bunged up, so I sound a bit odd. So yeah, hopefully that'll be gone in my next video. But they are my beauty favourites for 2017. I think I covered everything. I'm sure there should be some honourable mentions. Actually, there's one other honourable mention that I got at the end of the year, so that's why I didn't add them in. But these are the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powders. These are like £5 from like Dunnes or Pennies, and these are bloody good highlighters. This one is too dark on me. I wear it as eyeshadow all the time and I love it. This one, which is Precious Petals, is gorgeous on pale skin, and these are just fantastic for the price point, so they deserve an honourable mention. Okay, I'll shut up now. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate it. As always, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!